You should have a mute all button, Charles.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. It's Charles Park, broker manager at Remax Realty Services. I'm broadcasting from Brampton. Today, the 24th of July. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. This is the last chance to sort of capture the whole transition that we're going from Stratus to Realm. I'm going to be spending about 10 to 15 minutes on salvaging some of the data that you guys have still sitting in Stratus if you haven't done so already. But I also want this to be an introductory course for people who haven't yet had a chance to dive into the actual platform. Okay, so I'm going to confirm that you guys can see on your screen what I see. Now you guys are seeing stuff that most people don't. I'm going to minimize this so we can sort of see a little bit more. Is that good for you guys? Okay, great. So as you can see here on the dashboard, when you first log into Realm, yeah, guys, sorry, we're recording, okay? So I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the platform. We've had this platform for almost 2.5 years. And that might seem a little bit shocking for some of you because you've received notifications for the last couple of years that you've had access to it and you had an opportunity to try it. So I'm just trying to get a feel for the room. How many have never used Realm? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's not very many of you. Okay, I will say this though. Is it fear? Is that why?
Time.
Time?
I find the time to use it takes 3 times longer than.
Yeah, it does take longer to use Realm than it does Stratus. That I'm not going to lie about. But I think what I think is important is that we've had 2 years, right, to try it, to familiarize ourselves with it. If you haven't taken that opportunity, I really can't make you more comfortable than you already could have been by now. So the purpose of this video that I'm recording on this session today is to help people, make that transition and as if next Wednesday they're shutting it off. I'm going to make a prediction. When they shut it off and they wake up on Wednesday morning and no one has access to Stratus anymore, I wouldn't even bother trying to call Trev. Okay, they're not going to be there. When we went from Stratus V2 to Stratus V3 back in 2013, they shut down the phone lines. It crashed. And also the platform itself also had a lot of difficulties because you had an enormous amount of users trying to all access this at once, and they were having problems. I highly think that might happen again, considering I think it's highly likely. So as a courtesy for everyone that's watching this video today at live, prepare yourself, right, for next Wednesday. Okay, if you could put the phones on mute, that would be great. All right, so let's go from right to left because when we do this training at Treb, we're migrating from the right side of the top right-hand corner of this. You see this? I've got my picture uploaded. If you're logging in for the first time, you'll probably see your initials. Am I correct? Some people have their initials. I want you to all click on that. Now, you can either go into edit profile or settings. They're pretty much the same. Okay, mine will look different from yours because I've got my photo uploaded. It's been there for quite a while. Also, my dashboard is my default, as is yours. But you guys, if you've never used this before, you will have the consumer search view, right, as your default. Being a Stratus user, I prefer the tables because as Stratus users, we're used to the tables. We're used to seeing individual lines for all of our listings. We're not used to seeing those tiles, those cards. So if you're a Stratus user, I highly suggest, and I'm going to migrate more into the map as I'm, doing my searches. I rely a little bit more on the map now than I did under Stratus. I would suggest you get the map and table as your default search, and you simply click map and table, and there's a blue button right here. Click save. Okay, that's under account. If you haven't seen that yet, click on account. I want to get you there quickly because the biggest complaint that I got for the last couple of years from agents was it looks nothing like Stratus. I agree. It looks nothing like Stratus, but we can make it look a little bit more like Stratus to make you guys a little bit more comfortable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any questions about the default search view that I've just mentioned? Because if I click on search here, I'm going to jump the gun. And I know that you guys, when you trying to get into the MLS system, you don't care about any of the other stuff that's here. You just want to do a search, right? That's why you've logged into the MLS. And as you can see here, my search, it actually remembers my last search. I'm going to clear this. But the map pops up. This is up where, oh, actually, I was doing a search up in Collingwood. It remembered that. So if I go south from Barrie and I go into actually my neighborhood, I live in Keswick. I live right down in here. You can actually see the map. And if the system has got no criteria, no filters, it's going to max out at 10,000 results. I've also got a couple layers on here. I should probably clear these out. I want to get rid of the map art. Okay. That's it. So that's just a default map view. Okay. On the bottom will be all the results. On the left-hand side, this is what we're used to as Stratus users. On the right-hand side, we used to have the quick search. Now it's on the left-hand side. That's all it is. But it looks pretty much the same. The criteria is the same. Okay. We've used a lot of this terminology from the old system. We've migrated it into the new system. Okay. So that's jumping the gun a little bit. Let's go back to our profile. Okay. Click on settings. Now I want to go from the top for now. Your profile is what Treb has assigned to you. It is really slow today. Is anybody else experiencing this kind of slowness?
But I did find it earlier in the week.
Okay.
Oh,
So we're going to go down a little bit, right? You can see my birthday. I've added my social media. Realm is also a communications platform. If you want people to see your social media profiles, because that's the way that you do your business, that's great. You can upload that information right here. Okay. I'm going to go into account. That's exactly where, sorry, personalization, actually, I'm going to stay in. When you guys are using Stratus, you didn't have the opportunity to share your login access, I hope anyways, with your clients. Realm is different. They actually have it's the same platform. There is a client login, and then there is the user account login, the member login. Now, as a member, you get access to everything. As a client, you get access to the same data, but it is truncated. So there are certain fields that we don't propagate to the client view. Obviously, the seller landlord names, okay? We don't give them a lot of the details on conditions and, you know, when you've reported, all that kind of stuff. Also, the brokerage information is also truncated. But we have opened up the possibility that somebody on 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, when you're not thinking of buying or selling real estate for anybody, you're just enjoying your lives, instead of them calling you saying, hey, you know, I just noticed that there's a sold sign across the street from my house. Can you look up what it sold for? So our system now allows your consumer or your client to log into the system independently on their own and look at unavailable and sold properties as well. Okay, so that's an enhancement that we've offered. There's also a mobile app. I'm not going to teach you the mobile app today, but if you're interested in downloading the mobile app, it is incredibly powerful. And your clients can also download the same app. Okay? When you invite your client to the platform, this is the default message that will be sent to them, right? And if we scroll down a little bit, right, you can see there's all sorts of instructions in here, but I do want to focus a little bit on the signature. Now, we had a couple of agents that recently joined us from other brokerages. They noticed that their signature had not changed when they came over to Remax Realty Services. So I suggested that they can independently go in and they can modify the signature themselves. Also, I've got a URL that I can also cut and paste into here. It doesn't allow images. So you can't put your logos and your branding and all that kind of stuff in here. It's only text. So I've used a URL, right? It's a link that people can click on when they get the email message. And if their browser or whatever application they're using, convert that link into a hyperlink so people can go somewhere else, say it's your website, then that will show up here. So all I've got here is my office and cell phone number. I'm a little bit more simplistic, but your cell phone number doesn't show up as a default. If you're sending your clients listings, or you're inviting them to the platform, I think it's convenient for them to have your cell phone number on hand directly in the email that you're sending them. Would you agree? All right, great. So we're going to move on. Let's go to account. So when I jump there, there's the mapping table is my default. Now, if you're a farming agent and you do the same search each and every single time you log into the system, I probably have a few of you in here, right? You can actually default the search into one of your saved searches. Now, I don't have that. I'm not a farming agent at this very moment, but let's say I was, and let's say I'm a farming agent for the Caledon area, right? I can take that Caledon search and make it my default. So when I do my search, there's two options at the bottom. I can go back to my default, or I can clear everything and start a brand new search. But what it does, it saves you time. Because I know there's also agents out there that like to manually do the search over and over and over again. If that's the way you are, you're the same person that likes to dial people's phone numbers, right? And not have a contact saved on your phone because you've memorized their phone numbers, right? Anybody like that in here? So this is a convenience tool for you. If this is your default search always, right? Great. If it's not something that you do on a regular basis, I highly suggest you switch it back to none. Okay, and you click save. All right.
So Charles, just
Yeah.
a question. In the default search, the options which are coming, they are preset options.
Preset. You save the searches, right? And we're going to go into how to save searches in a minute. All right. Go down a little bit. There's also the time. If you like to work at night in bed and you don't want to disturb your spouse, right? Because it's a big white screen. There's also a dark mode that's available as well. Okay. Relevant question? Yeah.
Under my default search, pull down menu gives me, contact, my contact people.
Okay, that means you've saved searches under your contact people. You called your searches your contacts. That's where it's pulling that from. I don't know why you would save your searches under your contacts names. It's a little unusual. The generic naming convention is to say, if I'm doing a search in Caledon, call it a Caledon search. Detached. 4-bedroom plus, right? Below 1 million. That would be a regular name for a search.
But maybe I was trying to save it under one contact.
Yeah, so we don't do that in Realm anymore. I know you probably did that in Stratus. You might want to shift your thinking a little bit and start naming your searches by what the search actually does, not who it's for. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, market areas. This is really important because I'm sure you guys have specific market areas that you want to monitor on a daily basis. I've got 6 market areas all set up. And you can obviously use different market areas for whatever areas you're searching. If I were to modify one, say this little Portugal condo search, you can see it looks a lot like Stratus, doesn't it? You can see exactly what you're actually looking for, and you want to see what this looks like on a daily basis. Now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Pertaining to your market areas, on the left-hand side, this is something that Stratus does not currently do, but Realm does. When I used to be a full-time selling agent, before I went to bed, I purposely logged into Stratus, right? I wanted to see all the activity for the day that happened in my market area because I knew when I woke up in the morning, what would happen to all the market area data? It reset to 0. Okay, so you'd only get the current day's information. What Realm has done, if you missed a day, you can go back a day or 2 or 3, however many days that you've been absent from looking at your market areas, you can go back and you can see all the updates. So that is an enhancement that we recently gave you guys. Okay, so let's go back. I know I'm flipping back and forth. Okay, I'm going to go back into the market areas. You can see where you can delete your market areas, replace it. I can also, I've ranked them 1 to 6, but that's a default as well. Let's go into notifications. I don't suggest that anybody does anything with their notifications unless you're sick and tired of getting one type of specific notification that you don't like. Okay, all the defaults are here. I highly suggest that you use the defaults. So, like for example, when was a list created? Right? You want it to default to real time. Okay. When was it added to a list? Also, when your clients are invited to the platform, they may get a little bit sick and tired of looking at certain notifications so often during the day in real time. So you can make those modifications using this tab, but use the default for now. And I would tweak it rather than start playing with it. And then, because you could make a mistake and all of a sudden your client not get notifications when they want them. All right. I'm going to go down to land registry. Little known fact. This platform was co-developed with Terranet. So we all know about Geo Warehouse. I spend my life in Geo Warehouse as a commercial practitioner. Geo Warehouse, I even remember the previous version of Geo Warehouse, which I somewhat preferred because I could actually do address range searches, which the new Geo Warehouse doesn't. But when Treb and AMP, the owners of Stratus, partnered with Terranet, it was a marriage made in heaven, let me tell you. As you can see here, now, what do you mean I don't have any purchases?
Loading.
It's loading, yeah. So it's really slow right now. All my land registry searches, I do purchase parcel registers, instrument numbers, images, all from Geo Warehouse. Every time I've made one of those purchases, it will show up under this tab. It may not be showing up under this tab because it still says loading, but if you've made any purchases recently, right, you'll probably be easier to find it here than in an email that you received from the platform, God knows when. Okay, so it's just quick access.
How long, do you know how long that will stay on? So you purchase it, it comes.
You know
here,
what?
it Stays on here as an ID number, we can double click and open.
You know what? I haven't checked to see how far back it goes and how long it goes, but I've purchased so many, I was literally like, oh my gosh, they're all here.
But we don't know like how long.
I don't know specifically, right? Because I don't manage the restrictions, but I can tell you right now, if it was done recently, it usually appears right here.
Charles, for me, I joined 2020.
Yeah.
It's showing till 2020.
It's showing till 2020. There you
That's
go.
when I was a-
Yeah. I'm gonna,
I purchase all the time and they're not showing.
oh, okay.
Only some.
We're gonna look at that. The next tab is specifically for my Stratus users. This is your last chance, okay? If you had any lists that you created, not a list, but likes, because Stratus is fairly basic. If you've liked a listing and you've added them to your particular lists, you can add all these likes to Realm. Now you might be asking, okay, Charles, I clicked on this button for those people who've attended my class before. Where do I find them? Let's go back to the dashboard because I've already done this. Right? On the dashboard, I simply scroll down. So these are the recent things that I clicked on. These are recent searches. These are my saved lists. Here are my likes. There's 106 of them. Why there's so many? Well, I was actually keeping a track of a lot of power of sales. That's something that I just do in my practice. Okay. My clients know that I keep track of these things. And whenever I see a power sale that I find kind of interesting, I add it to my likes. And so you just have to scroll down on your dashboard, okay, to see what those likes are. I have a shopping cart, right? I've added 9 listings to that, right? And also this was my sister's house. I just want to, keep an eye on, it's a quick reference. I don't want to have to go search for it. So it's sitting right here. Okay. And then there's some announcements. I know that a lot of you never scroll in your dashboards. You probably never noticed that all the stuff was at the bottom. Also, important notices from Treb appear at the bottom of your dashboard, right? You may not want it at the top. I get it. It's not important. You don't like to read messages from our board, but they're there. So if you're keen and you want to know what's happening, scroll down to the bottom. All right.
How do you add that to shopping cart?
I'll show you in a minute. Okay, we got to keep going. Oops, that's the wrong picture. There I am. So those are your Stratuses that you can save, right? And here's the big one. I had 1 million searches that I saved in Stratus. And yes, some I named under my clients' names because we didn't know any better years ago. We just thought, yeah, I made a search for Jeremy, call it Jeremy search, right? And every time I went to go look for Jeremy search, because I saw his name, I knew that this was a specific search that I made for Jeremy. Well, if you can see here on the right-hand side, I didn't import all. If you want to import all of them, you just click on this button right here. It says beside your search name, and it will highlight all of them. Now, for training purposes, I did not decide to use this button myself, but you guys can go ahead and freely do this. You can take everything and dump it into Realm. But I'm going to take one as an example. So Peel year to date. I don't know why I created this search back in 2023. I'm going to select it and I'm going to import that. And what it's going to do, it's going to take this search and it's going to save it under my contact profile in Realm, right? I'm going to save that search. And look, the date that it was imported into Realm shows up right there. So if you have searches saved in Stratus that you want to save and continue to use, this includes your prospect matches, okay? This is where you would import those save searches. Now, any questions about that? Anybody having trouble saving their stuff?
The import select button does not work on my.
Did you select them all? Are you?
So whatever searches or prospects we have already saved.
Yes.
in Stratus, it will show there.
It should show here, okay? I don't know why your button's not working, but we're gonna figure that one out.
Show up here.
Yeah, all your prospect matches. Now here, I'm gonna show you, once you do this, I'm gonna jump into contacts. So I just imported the year-to-date search for Peel. Oops, Charles. Here we go. So under my profile, I'm the agent. All of these saved searches, what's the search that I just brought over? Peel YTD. It's sitting right here under my profile, not under a client's profile. Because the problem was under Stratus, you didn't have to assign any prospect matches to any of your saved contacts. Right? Yeah, guys, can you please put your phones on mute? Thank you. All right. So if I click on this search now, had I actually assigned this search, because I actually assigned it to myself anyways, I can actually see the criteria by clicking on the search. So I picked Peel, so Peel, Brampton, Caledon, Mississauga. This was a freehold and condo. It's a pretty big search, right? And I've got 8,277 results. Why I would want to even save this search, I don't know. I guess somebody was just, oh, now I remember. It was somebody wanted to start on a daily basis. They wanted to compare the number of active listings on a day-by-day basis. That's what it was. So today it's 8,277. Oh no, this is unavailable. Yeah, if I switch it to available, actually I can save this now, right? We can see all the active Peel listings that are condo and freehold. And I've got 4,544. Okay. And if I want to save that now, I go to searches, right? And I save search. It's still Peel YTD. Now, let's say I want to assign it to a client that I put into the system. I would do that here, but I'm just going to save the search as is. So that's availables. Okay. And it is saving. It's taking a little bit of time as the wheel spins. All right. Boy, it's 11:23 already. And there we go. Okay. So you see how I did that? I went to contacts. Anything that you saved or migrated over from Stratus is saved under your profile. So if I have Deb and Ekta here, let's see if I click on their search. Oh, by the way, there's 3 buttons on the right-hand side here. If you want to see the details of the settings of that particular search, you can actually click on here. Now, Deb and Ekta, for some reason, I didn't have a email address set up in that search. I wasn't sending them that search. But if I was sending them that search, their email will appear here. They don't need a contact. What we're doing is we're taking our profile, because you're the agent, you're putting their email address here, and that's how they're getting the matches and the emails. You got it? That's the only way that we could take your old Stratus stuff and dump it into Realm. Because normally you need a contact in order to send these people prospect matches, right? Make sense? And the other thing is if you do have a prospect match and you've got that contact all set up, but you want to send that same search and you don't want to create a second contact for the spouse, you would just put the spouse's email right in this empty section right here. And you would also control the notifications from here. As you can see here, it defaults to daily. What if I want them to receive it in real time? I can do that all from the settings menu right here. You got it? All right. And I would save that search. So if you're bringing anything over from Stratus, look under your profile. Okay, so if you go to contacts, you click on your profile, and at the top, you would look under, right now, it would probably default on your computers to your personal contact information. You want to move over 1 to searches. And you'll find all those migrated searches under your profile. You got it? Okay, let's move on. Let's go back to the top right-hand corner. Oh, actually, we're done. So as you can see here, we've gone through the entire gamut of all the options that were on the left-hand side here under your profile. Now, for people, yeah.
So, I mean, you told us the defaulting on this right where you are.
Yeah.
It says dashboard, that's where it starts.
Yes. Yeah, the other option is for you to go right into searches, but I highly would not recommend that.
How would that look?
It looks weird. Okay, if you completely avoid the dashboard, you don't get into your market areas, you lose all the messages, you lose your last search.
Complete left side.
I don't know why people don't listen. Okay, hey, I'm not telling you how to do your business. If you don't like the dashboard, fine. Go right to your search. Your default search, right? It would look like this. Look, if I actually go to right to search listing, for example, you see that? I'm going to save it. It looks weird, But yeah, as soon as I click on the home button here or realm in the top left-hand corner, actually it hasn't saved yet. It would go right to my search, my default search. So I don't recommend it. If you want to do it, go right on ahead, but then you're going to be like, hey, how do I find my lights? Well, you got to go back to your dashboard to find that. Okay. All right. I'm going to set that back because I'm going to probably forget that I switched it. Account. I don't want search listings. I want my dashboard. Save. Okay. Now this question mark right beside my picture or your initials is where you would get all the resources from Treb. So I can look on video tutorials, help articles, commonly asked questions about Realm specifically. So you don't have to call me up in the middle of the night. See if there is an article first, okay? Before you wake me up out of bed. See if there's an article that will answer your questions. And you can actually do a search right here, right? If you want to do CMA, it'll show you all sorts of articles on CMAs. Right? And that's directly from the source. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's go back to the top. How do I exit out of this window? Yeah. Yeah, here we go. So that was the help center. The Rubik's Cube looking icon over here is called your resources menu. For the Stratus users that had the links on the left-hand side, sometimes you can collapse it and you can click on links at the top of Stratus. Most of those shortcuts are now here. Now, what's a little bit different, your active listings that showed up, right, are now called listing inventory right here. There's a Realm CMA because we're going to be, as soon as we lose Stratus, you will no longer be able to do Stratus CMAs. So you'll have to use the Realm for your CMAs unless you want to pay for top CMA. What is that, $10 for CMA? If you like to pay, it is actually quite good, but you top CMA, middle, 3 down.
Oh,
You see my mouse? Right here. Okay.
so they actually just do it.
No. It's a nicer interface. It's a paid platform. It's a third-party program.
I see.
Okay. So if you don't like the Realm CMA and you're willing to pay, use a top CMA. It looks actually quite nice. You can actually test drive it. It'll put watermarks in your CMA until you pay for it. I do want to get, okay, this is another way to get into your profile. For those of you who broker load your own listings, add edit is right here. Now, this is a pretty big button for a lot of our listing agents here. If you're primarily a listing agent, you want to go in here. And here's why. Back in November of 2023, Treb made a conscientious decision to announce we're no longer publishing hard copy MLS data sheets. Okay. I think the announcement came out around November 28th. We were also focused on Tressa at the time that we kind of missed all those announcements back then. I'm going to show this to you really quickly. If you are going to go to a listing presentation, if you're lucky enough that that house has been listed on MLS before, you can actually clone that listing, right? Not all the fields will come over, but, and I'm going to show you under my drafts. I got to type my name though, because I can see all your drafts. I've got this one, okay? What Treb would prefer you to do is to create a listing in Add Edit. Because what you can actually do is you can preview it. You can generate an MLS data sheet for signature. And it's already in the system. So as you can see here, and I know it looks a little different from the printouts, but right here, there are signature columns for you to get your MLS listing signed. Treb no longer prints hard copy. And the reason being, as a board, we keep changing the MLS data sheet. We keep bringing on new boards. We just brought in Ottawa, Guelph, Niagara, Barrie. All these boards are joining Treb. These boards are demanding that we put new fields into the MLS data sheet. Do you want to walk around with 10 pages of MLS data? Because waterfront properties require different sets of data than condominiums, than commercial, than freehold. You see? So what we do here now is say, let's put all the data into the system, generate the data sheet, You might not have it all. That's okay. Get it signed, and then right on the sheet itself. I know you guys are doing this anyways. You can mark up. Let's say you're missing the property taxes. Write them on the sheet. Get your client to sign it. Maybe you're missing the room measurements. Go and measure all the rooms, right? Put them right on the sheet. But at least you've got a signed data sheet. And when you actually are making any changes, because according to MLS Rule 108, any immaterial changes that you make on the MLS system without your client's consent is an MLS rule violation. So you cannot just randomly make whatever changes you want to the MLS without your client's consent. Yes, remarks are included. Okay? I'm just warning you guys. Treb's being very lenient right now. They're becoming more strict. So
Any change, like we had an offer date, no offer came, so we have to get it signed again.
yeah, you have to is your client not entitled to know what information you're publishing on the public MLS system? Answer that question. Because so many consumers have complained about our behavior and not letting them know what we're doing with their listing. Okay? Anyways, let's keep moving on. I just wanted to show that really quickly because a lot of you are probably still looking for those NCR paper sheets, which we still have a lot of. They're from years ago anyways, because Treb stopped making them. You might want to migrate over to this particular system, okay?
So the add edit button is only available for MLS data. I can't actually do a listing agreement as well.
No, that is your listing agreement.
That's your data.
Oh, no, that, yeah, your OREA stuff is separate, okay? And here, I wanted to show you the validate button. It tells you what information you're missing, right? The amounts and dates. Oh, I haven't got anything in here. Okay, the taxes. Oh my God, I had to fill all this in. I get it. The MLS data sheet is the bane of your existence, isn't it? That's why you guys hate doing it. But I'm going to tell you right now, you think this is strict? It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
Josh, am I getting it right? Are you saying we could use someone else's listing information? Get it right?
Yeah, it's their listing, but you've cloned it.
Input.
You got to, but you're still, as a registrant, you're still required to verify that the information is still accurate. But this system will allow you, hopefully it's accurate, because let's say you find an inaccurate listing. Maybe they purposely gave you the wrong room measurements or something stupid like that. You know what? That's just silly.
Yep.
You got to report that stuff to Data Integrity Services at Treb. Okay. But these tabs at the top tell you where you're missing information. Client remarks are mandatory. Okay. Obviously, your phone number is mandatory, right? The commission that you're offering a brokerage, currently it's mandatory. We'll see in the future if that's still there. Okay. I'm not going to open up that can of worms, but this is all going to tell you what information you're missing. And until this is validated, we can't broker load. I can keep clicking submit till I'm blue in the face. It won't take it because you're missing information. And please do not ask the front desk to fill it in for you and to research it for you. That's not their job. That's your job. Okay. I'm going to close this. And we're going to go back. Go back to Realm. Actually, it's right here. So, where were we? In the resources menus. Listing inventory, that's where all your active and your past listings will show up there. I quickly want to go into Geo Warehouse. Geo Warehouse is directly here. And as a lot of you know who use Geo Warehouse on a regular basis, it links to Property Line, but there's also a direct access to Property Line further down in here. Okay. So if you look here, there's a Property Line store. Okay.
Move those widgets around at all? So that
No, you don't have control over that. Okay, so you still have to scroll. I know a lot of people don't go directly into Property Line Store. Most people just get to Geo Warehouse and they go directly into Geo Warehouse and they go to Property Line Store directly from there. Right. I have a quick announcement for you guys. The room measurement. So for anybody who's bought bundles, those $5 square footage reports from MPAC that a lot of agents have bought, you may not have to buy them in the near future. Okay. By the end of August, I believe, I attended the Impact seminar. Treb has purchased the square footage, but you can't get a report. You have to have a draft listing. And you see this little piece of paper over here? Coming soon. Follow these 3 steps. Click on Add Edit. Enter the property address in a draft listing, which is what I just showed you. In your square footage field, select Add the Impact square footage. You will get it for free.
Wow.
Okay. $5 saved. Now, they won't refund you whatever you bought, because those are reports. You may still end up wanting to use those reports. Maybe you want to compare it to the neighbor's property, which you're not going to add edit. So you can still access the square footage reports saying this is a comparable property. They didn't publish the square footage because you still publish listings without square footage. I get it. But you want to know what their square footage was to compare it to your listing, right? Okay,
I believe it's automatically start uploading that lately.
not yet. It hasn't been released yet.
I saw one of my property, I never ordered the vote it's showing there.
Did you clone it from a previous listing? No?
So office, then maybe they will.
Yeah, if it's previously there, it will come over, but this is impact square footage.
Yeah, they will.
Okay, so I know that ITSO doesn't like impact square footage. Impact has really cleaned up their act on how they calculate square footage. That was also part of the seminar. For you know those dormers and stuff like that. They will only measure square footage to a maximum of where there's a 4 feet ceiling height. Anything behind that is not counted, right? They don't count basements, even if it's ground level and you drive in and there's a basement behind, it's above grade. They don't count that square footage, right? So they're really tightening the criteria as to what is considered above grade square footage. Okay. I don't want to talk about that too much because that's not what the seminar is about. I want you guys to go into your resources menu, click on all the icons, see what they do. You'll probably recognize where you are, right? And see all the services that Trev provides, and we'll take it from there. This is a home button. This is supposed to take you back to your dashboard. Okay. I don't need to show you that too much. I'm going to click on this notifications icon. And the reason why I want to show you this to you, because this is something that Stratus also did not provide you. Whenever you've added a new client, it will show up here. Whenever that client has accepted an invitation to join Realm, right, it will show up here. Whenever you've sent your client a prospect match, it will show up here. How many of you have actually gotten a phone call from your clients saying, hey, I want to go, that last listing you showed me, let's go take a look at it. And you're like, what did I send them? I can't remember what I sent them. The system sent it to them, right? Jump into the notification bell, right? Look for their name because you set them up and find out what properties. Look, Jane Blow just got these listings. Was it 19 Western Battery or is it 125 Western Battery? Oh, it was 19, right? Because it's on the 21st floor. I don't want to live on anything below 20 floors. Oh, okay. I'm going to click on that listing. Let's jump right into it. And there you go.
The overview format we just came, have you set it up for yourself or it is the default setup?
Oh yeah, okay, so great question. As you can see, I've set my default view to the old-fashioned Stratus view. You guys like this, right?
Yeah.
Right now, you guys don't default to that. You default to this. Broker full. And you love it. You know why you love it? Because it's mobile friendly. Everything you scroll from top to bottom. That's why this is the preferred format, especially amongst millennials, because they do everything on their handheld devices. They don't even own PCs or computers at home because they do everything from their phone. So on the mobile application, this actually is far more friendly because you can scroll down, right, and get to the information that you're looking for. But I get it. I have got a lot of Stratus users in here. There's a lot of you in here, right? Here's the one thing that you're going to lose by going to the broker full sheet view. You're not going to get the mapping. For some reason, they haven't added that. When we first got this view, they also took away our links. You couldn't book an appointment through online appointments. You couldn't prepare an offer from this view. But they just recently added this so that you can have all that functionality. So let's compare this. If you click on the gear right beside the blue button, you can switch your view to broker full sheet. And as you can see, I didn't have to do that before because it remembered that this was the last view that I had. So if you want to send this or you want to print this as well, you can print it like this. We've given that to you. They're not going to cancel it when we get rid of Stratus. You will have this forever.
And we can't just default it to look like this.
Yeah, you know, it defaults when you switched it.
Done.
Why would you ever switch it back if you want the map? Okay?
Just default.
But also, when you send this view to your client, they have to scroll left and right as well as up and down on their mobile devices. Okay? That's the one drawback of this view. It's not mobile friendly. And can you imagine trying to pinch it and try to read the text. When it's on a mobile device, it looks really, really minuscule, right? All right, so I want to put it back to the broker full because this is what a lot of people are actually defaulting and looking at it by. The amount of information that Realm provides is far more than Stratus ever provided. Stratus just gave you the listing and you printed it, and that was pretty much about it. The advantage of our partnership with Terranet is that we go down here and you can actually, oh, by the way, your room measurements, they've given you meters and imperial and metric all at once. So there's no need to switch back and forth. That's another thing. If you go down here, there's the map. It's the property history. And this one doesn't have any geo warehouse information in it yet. If this property was sold and was transferred on geo warehouse or on Terranet, you would be able to see that information. But look here, you know how I'm signing tons of cancel and relists for you guys, especially in the last 4 to 6 months. You guys are cancel and relisting like crazy because you guys are under the impression that by canceling and relisting, that it looks like a new listing, right? And no one will ever know. Wrong. Every cancel and relist shows up at the bottom of the listing. Okay? And if I want to take a look at your cancel and relisted listing, all I got to do is click on the previous MLS number. We're not dumb. So cancel and relisting really has very little use anymore. Okay? Just letting you guys know. Okay?
So
Yeah.
when you change from the gear setting to the client full and the client full sheet, in the client full, it still shows the agent's names and the information.
Well, that's what you can see, but when you send it to them, right, it should show just brokerage information.
Even if I change it to the client full for myself, now I'm not able to see your.
Okay, that's a little odd. So if I take this listing and I switch it to client full sheet,
Yeah,
right? When I've gone down to the bottom,
yeah, now you just see the listing contacted, like it's just.
it's just the brokerage.
Can you change it to the client full?
This is client full sheet,
No, but I want you to change it to the client full.
just client, oh, sorry, client full
Yeah,
right here. Yeah,
so now you have the agent's names.
yeah, but because it sees me as an agent,
So if I send this to my client.
No, no,
they're not gonna see it.
they're gonna see the brokerage, they're not gonna see the agent's name. Okay, but just take my word for it, okay? Go ahead and try it. All right, we gotta keep moving, guys. Where did I leave off of? The notifications icon. Okay, there's a chat button right here. If you want, and I've done this before, I've chatted directly with listing agents directly through Realm. They received a notification that they had a message. I had a question, right? Something about the house that I would like to know. It's too late to give them a call. And the old-fashioned way was to call the brokerage and have them paged. You don't need all that stuff anymore, right? You could use Broker Bay, right? But I noticed that right-at-home agents don't use Broker Bay, right? But all right-at-home agents use Realm. So you can message the agent if you don't want to go through that rigmarole of trying to find all their cell phone numbers and all that. You have to go to their website, whatever it is. Hey, I personally, because I don't like to be bothered too much by agents, I used to put my cell phone number attached to everything. I stopped doing that, especially for leases. I really don't want people contacting me directly, especially when it's my time, it's my family time. I really don't want to feel obligated that I pick up a phone call from people on something that I really don't want to deal with on a Saturday night when I'm spending time with my family. Okay, respect people's time. If you message them directly from the platform, okay, so that Zach and I, who was an agent in the company, were having a conversation. This is this is the conversation that we were having. He was testing the system out as well, and he found a couple of glitches early on. Hey, that's what I rely upon you guys. You guys are active users. I'm a part-time user. If you guys come across glitches that you are having trouble understanding, give me the feedback. Okay. Moving over to documents. I don't want to spend a lot of time on stuff that you will barely use. Things like surveys, status certificates, maybe, right? Things that you don't want to lose. Yeah, go ahead.
Text message as well.
Yeah.
So how does it notify us?
It doesn't send a text message, no. So Broker Bay, if they're Broker Bay users and they've set up their profile to receive text messages, yes, they will get the text message. Correct. But you see, it's hit and miss because not all brokerages use Broker Bay. Okay.
Honestly, just put on your listing, that's what I do.
Yeah, I get it.
Contact me via-
You know what? If you guys are having trouble contacting the listing agent, there's probably something else involved. Okay,
Charles, just a question, right, which is off context what we're discussing right now. When we're planning showings for our client, right, so in Stratus, there was an option that you select all your listings, you click on directions, and you can just quickly make a route, right?
right, okay, so,
do we
yeah,
have that?
so those were all plugins, right? We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Let's try to get through the, you're jumping a little bit ahead of me. So I'm gonna go into documents. If you guys, like things like surveys, status certificates, anything that's important that you have received and you wanna quickly reference, you can upload that here. Okay, so I actually had an Italian client and they own lots of land in Italy, okay? And they gave me a copy of their registrations, right? And my job was, as an Ontario realtor, was to connect them with an Italian realtor to have their properties in Italy sold, right? And I was gonna get a referral for that. So when he took a picture of her and sent it to me, you know, it was actually in text message. I'm like, if I switch phones, I'm gonna lose these text messages. So I thought the easiest way to do was to take these photos that he just sent me, download them, and I uploaded them directly to Realm, right? And that way I can't lose them, right? I was also testing the system out at the time, and so I just wanted to see how it would work, and it's worked quite well. I had not heard a limitation on how much storage space that they're going to give you. I know that I'm saving a little bit of money by canceling my Dropbox account because I pay for Apple storage, Gmail, Google storage, and Dropbox storage. I have 3 storages. Why don't I start utilizing the free storage that I already have, right? Okay, let's move on. Here's the big one. Contacts. The reason why we're going to talk about contacts before we talk about searches is because under contacts, and I'm going to pick somebody who is fake here, Jane Blow. If I actually just look at her contact information, as you can see, Jane Blow is a fictitious contact in my system. I don't expect you guys to have fictitious contacts in your system, but if you want to test to see how things work in Realm, it's good to have one fictitious account, right? For the purposes of training, I can delete Jane Blow and I can delete everything right here. But what I've been doing is, if I've been going to the top right-hand corner and I've been adding new clients manually. The minimum criteria for adding a new client is first name, last name, email address. Why do I have to go through all this, Charles? We didn't have to do this in Stratus. Don't ask me. It is minimum criteria, okay? So if you're missing first name, last name, or an email address, it will not allow you to save the contact. But why do we need to save contacts? Because when we set them up as a prospect, we need to associate the search results to a contact in the system. You got it? Let me say that again. Why do we need contacts? Because you need to associate a search that you created for that contact in the system. There has to be some kind of connection. So when I've added a new client, I'm going to pick let's call it Jacob Buyer. Okay? And I'm going to use my email address like I always use. I have a Chuck 2001 CA. That's my junk email address. If you guys have a junk email address, that's great. Something that you can just use to sort of test. And whenever you go shopping, that's the email address you give the person who asks for one for you to get your discount. You can see at the bottom here, I've got first name, last name. I can add more information, but I choose not to. There's 2 buttons. I got 2 choices. Save or save an invite. What's the difference? Do you want this contact to have access to our system directly? Yes or no? That is a personal choice that I will leave up to you. I personally invite everybody to use Realm. They may not like it. I don't care whether they use it or not, but the ones that do use it, I get to see every time they log in and what they do, and that is information that is key to me. I guarantee you, if they're not using your system, they're probably using somebody else's. So who's getting all that information? Somebody else. So I'm going to put it out to you guys. Do you prefer people to use somebody else's platform so they can get all that information on your client, on what they're looking for, or would you want to keep it in-house? Just between the 2 of you, or 3 of you, however many there are. So I invite all my clients to use a platform. The traditional mentality is, and I get it, Charles, we don't want our clients to know anything. I want to give it to them. It's got to come from me. Okay, if that's your business practice, you're never going to click on save and invite. You're going to click on save. You've just saved a contact. They don't know anything. Cool? But what if we do want them to use a platform? Let's click on save and invite. Remember under our profile, I showed you that default message, which you can customize. There it is. Okay, if you don't like the wording, change it. It's however you want to sound. Okay, and let's send it. Okay, so now Jacob Buyer is in the system. Now, if I go to the notifications icon, remember that? What does it say at the top? You added a new client, Jacob Buyer. Now, while I'm in his profile, let's close this. What's the point in adding a contact in my system if I don't want to send them listings? I want the system. I'm a busy person. Why am I constantly doing the searches and sending them to my client? Why can't I just have the system do that for me? I'm going to click on search it, and I can see it because I just added Jacob. There's no searches associated to him, but there's a search button right here in blue. I'm going to click on search. So this segues into how to do a search. Now, remember I showed you when you set up your profile, it goes to my default. This is actually the last search that I was actually in. Now, if I click on clear, it's going to wipe everything out, including this little check mark over to the side that says match on area, municipality, and community values. Let me show you how that works. When I click on clear, everything disappears. Now look at the map. It's showing me everything. Do I want everything? No. Who wants to know everything? Nobody really, okay? So I would click, and I want you guys to do this because if you don't click on this, what ends up happening is that it's going to use the AI and it's going to make all sorts of suggestions outside of the area, municipality, and communities that you've selected. But as real estate practitioners, shouldn't you know what your clients are looking for and where they're looking for it? So you're always going to check that check mark off. Now, because I don't have a default search, there's another button to the left here called reset the default. Let's say the check mark is not there. Okay, I've cleared everything. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to wait for it to recycle. I'm going to click reset the default. Ironically, when I reset the default, I'm going to give it a second here. I've got actually some kind of default saved in here, right? The match on area, municipality, community value check mark just showed up. You see the difference? So when one of the number one complaints that I got from agents that were starting to use the system saying, why do my search results in Realm look different from Stratus? It's because of that little check mark. You get a lot more in Realm because it's not filtering it as much. But in Stratus, because you don't have AI, it's not making any suggestions. It's only going to give you what you specifically looked for. So if you ever run into a situation where this particular check mark has not been checked off, you're not getting the exact search result that you're looking for. It's because you missed it. And I've missed it repeatedly. So if I can make that mistake, so can you. So we are in Jacob's search criteria here. I'm going to use this criteria right now. What is Jacob looking for? Shout out some criteria. Peel?
Yep.
Okay. Where does Jacob want to live? So I clicked on Peel. I had to click off of the pull down menu because I'm not selecting multiple regions. That closed it. Now I can select on the municipality. You said Brampton. You love Brampton?
Always.
Okay. And what do we want to put in a community?
That's the question. You just have to select the communities.
Well, okay. I'm going to help you along here. Watch this. Let's say, we're downtown. This is downtown, Brampton.
Yeah.
This area is called downtown, right? Let's click here. Let's go down to downtown. Downtown Brampton. Watch what the map does. Isn't that amazing? I haven't selected anything else. All I've selected is area, municipality, and community. But it's not just downtown that they want to live in. What's next to downtown? If you have problems figuring out, because you haven't memorized all the communities, because I don't know, I'm going to click on map layers. And I'm going to expose the communities. See communities down here? Oh, Northwood Park is right next to us. Maybe they would want to live in Northwood Park or Fletcher's Creek Village or Brampton West. You see how that works? Isn't that great? So you can use the layers to help you figure out what your client is looking for. There is one danger, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and especially in Brampton. You have very similar community names all over the city. You have Bram East and Brampton East. You have Bram West and Brampton. What? Yeah, I know. Well, it's a weird history. Unfortunately, agents that don't commonly sell this city don't know the difference. And so when they broker load the wrong community. So I'm sure you guys have experienced this when you're searching properties for your clients. You're sending them the wrong houses in the wrong area because that agent put it in the wrong space. So how do we figure that? How do we filter that out? I can add restrictions to this. I can actually draw in this circle. Let's say I want to put a radius search. I can go to the middle of this area. If I got the crosshairs, yeah. Right here. I could say, you know what? I want to make sure that I'm only picking up houses in this area. I've added a map layer on top of the geographical restriction. Now let's keep going. We want available, obviously, right? I want deal fell through, extended, because that's available. I want new. I'll even take price change. I may not want sold conditional and sold conditional with an escape clause. Why would I not want those? They got an accepted offer. You ever had a client get excited about you sending them a listing going, oh, I want to go see this property. I want to buy this property. It's sold conditional already. Sorry. I don't prefer to send those things to my clients, right? You may be a little bit different. Maybe they want to know, okay? But I'm going to get more detailed here. I want to really, really focus on the price limitation. So my client is not going to be able to afford more than $900,000. That's really going to restrict this. Okay, well, obviously not. It's still a lot. And the type, they're really looking for detach. Whoa, we're down to 11. On top of detach, they need a minimum number of bedrooms. So I'm going to click off here. I need 3, 4, or 5 plus. I'm down to 6. You see how this works? Oh my God, I need a garage. So where's garage? I need a minimum of 1 garage parking spot. I'm down to 3. That's a pretty good search. I'm going to go over here, Jacob. I'm going to save this search. You see how I did that? Just click on the blue button. I'm going to call it Brampton, downtown, detach. Okay. D-O-W-N. Where's my N? Detach search. Okay. And you see Jacob shows up right here. Now, in some cases, I've noticed that some people, they're like, I can't see my buyer, right? Usually there's going to be a save as button down here, which will release all your contacts if you ever come into that situation. But I'm going to assign this to Jacob. See, I clicked on Jacob. He's moved over to my left. I'm the agent. So at the top here, I do want to get notifications on my app, and I want to be emailed on a daily basis of anything that matches his criteria. But for Jacob himself, that's your client. Yes, I want him to get the app notifications, but on top of that, I want him to get them real time. You see? Stratus didn't do that for you. And remember when the market was hot? How fast were properties selling? In hours, not days. They were selling in hours. You guys were probably putting in bully offers before the offer presentations date because the market was so hot. And another argument is, why do I need your services? I can go to somebody else's platform and I've got all the listings just as quickly as you're sending them to me in Stratus. Well, are you getting them real time directly from the MLS? They were just broker loaded on. This is faster than it propagating to all those other competitors' websites. You probably won't even see it on your website yet. Yet your client got that listing before everybody else did. How about that? Okay, so I selected the notifications, and maybe Jacob has a wife, right? Her name is Charles Park. 416@gmail.com. Right? Maybe the son wants to get involved in this. Right? You're going to put the son's email address in here. All under one prospect match. And I'm gonna save that search. How easy is this, guys? You're getting the process. Okay? Now, if let's say I'm busy now. I've gone ahead, I've done exactly what I was gonna do. I've got other things to do. I gotta go on listing presentations. I gotta go take my dad to the hospital because he got blood work to do. Whatever it is that is happening in your life. Okay, you come back, right? You log back into the system and you're like, did I do that right? How do I check to see what work I've done for Jacob? I go into contacts. I look for Jacob. Where are you, Jacob? There you are, Jacob Buyer, right? I click on him. Now his contact information shouldn't have changed, but I look under searches and there's his search. Right there. And if I want to see the results of it, I just click on the search itself. And there's those 3 results because nothing's really changed. But more importantly, let's go back into the contact. You see over here, the 3 buttons. Let's say I'm like, Jacob calls like, hey, something just came up. I gotta suspend my search. How do you deactivate it? I can go into the settings right here. Those 3 little buttons off to the side of the search. I click on settings. I can actually suspend it right from here, or I can actually change the email, change the app notifications. I can take away all that stuff. You see how I did that? Can you do the same thing? Seems pretty simple, right? So that is, in a nutshell, using the system. Doing what you guys do on a daily basis. So we spent the first hour just doing the intro to Realm. What else do you need to know about the system right now that you would like to learn before walking out of this room? Let's hear it. Map searches. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Yeah, I actually don't need to send anything to Jacob because he's a fake client anyways, right? I'm just going to save that. So I'm going to click on search. So no matter where I am, and I'm going to clear my search. Now, because I have the map, I can do a map search directly from here. So I clicked on clear, right? There's nothing selected. Now, for my Stratus users, you guys, I have 2 or 3 agents that are like, Charles, I'm never going to use the map. You can click on table. I can even close the filters. That doesn't that look like Stratus? Pretty much. Okay. I can also go to a full map. I like a nice big map to work with. Hey, Manpreet, what am I looking for? Maybe you got a listing appointment. Okay. Let's pick a random address. Someone give me a random address. A house you sold maybe last year or something like that. In Brampton.
45 Grand Rapids Square.
45 Grand
Rapid.
Rapid Square?
Yeah.
And it's in Brampton?
Yes.
So what I just clicked on was jump to location. Did you see how I did that? At the bottom of the left-hand side here, we've added a jump to location button. It saves you, huh? How to go there.
Where did you fill the address?
Okay,
How did
let okay, hang on. Let's go back to search.
Okay.
Okay, this was my default. Hello.
Yeah, it shows.
It's really slow today. You know, okay, so I was in map and table, right? Okay, let's say I'm in a different location. Let's just move the map a little bit, okay? So we can't see that house. On the bottom left-hand side, you see all the tools here?
Okay.
There is a jump to location button. It looks like that Google pin, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You click on it, and what was that address again?
45 Grand Rapids Square.
Brampton, right? I don't even need to know the postal code. Oop. What?
Yeah, but if you don't put Brampton, it's still not.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you gotta know the city. Okay. Okay. And as you can see, the map has pinpointed that. Now, let's say you just want to do a quick scan to see from here. I'm gonna activate my filters again. I just want to see what's sold really quickly in the immediate area, not knowing anything else, because you just got this phone call, right? I can actually use the radius or polygon tool. Now, I don't know this area very well. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I imagine this is a little bit too close. I still have my communities activated, but I haven't selected one. I'm going to think that based upon this, I'm just going to do a radius search because I know how to do that really quickly. So I click on radius search. You see that? It's right here. Draw a circle. I'm going to click it as close to the property. The crosshairs have to be activated. So if you don't see crosshairs, you can't click and drag. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag out a circle. Oops, what happened here? Whoa. Draw a circle. Oop, I think I unclicked it. There we go. Hello. I am clicking. You can see my thumb. I'm clicking like crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
I shouldn't be. Should be able to do is
no.
no, that's grabbing.
As long as you click this, these results that came up.
Maybe you can't, at the same.
No, you can. I've done it. Oops. Wow, this is really killing me today.
You can just map.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh God.
Finally.
Okay. I just want to be within this circle. You see how I've quickly done that on the map?
When you make that circle, you cannot adjust the circle, can you?
Yeah, you see these dots? I can grab the dot and I can pull it out again.
So that's just telling you it's probably for sale, but if we wanted to see.
Or you
what's
can
not
just
for sale-
reduce, but you cannot move the circle.
No, I'm moving the map. Yeah, you're right. I can
Can you squeeze a zoom into the map, like out of the map?
zoom out.
Yeah, minus. Now, can you move this circle, for example, this specific neighborhood? If you go a little bit more into the north, the houses or the type of houses are completely different.
Right.
So I just want to make specific,
Well, you wouldn't use a radius tool for that. Okay, so let me remove this shape. So let's start all over again.
okay,
Okay, so remove shape. Okay, maybe I don't want to be north of Williams Parkway, correct?
yes,
So I can actually go to what's called a polygon tool. Okay, so if I select the polygon tool and then I start pinning particular area that I think that's Williams Parkway. I want to stay within the community. I'll go as far south as whatever what's that, Queen? And what I'm doing, I'm actually clicking, right? And I'm going to go right back to the source. As soon as I've closed the polygon and I click, watch what happens. That's the area that I selected. Now, you were asking about available and sold. If I scroll down on the left-hand side here, I'm going to switch it from available to unavailable. I'm going to take away available, and I only want sold as a status. So I'm using all the filters on the left-hand side while I'm in a map search. Now, there's still too many. There's 587. I want to be more specific about the product. So maybe we don't use price, but let's go sold date. Let's go back 3 months. May 1st? Is that far back enough? Because I picked May 1st, I've got 16 results.
There's no more T minus.
No, they have actually done that. Watch this. So if I go here, I can go T minus 30, because I don't want to count the last 30 days. It gives you the 24th. So that quick thing that was in Stratus has been migrated over. It wasn't originally there, but they've recently added that. You got it? Because I don't need to know what's happened in the last 30 days. I just want to know what happened up until the last 30 days. Okay. Any questions about that map searching? You want to see the other layers?
pretty same as the.
There are so many layers, guys. Look, I can do the satellite view. Okay, so if you want to see where all the satellite characteristics are to help you with your map search, that's available to you. We have geo warehouse data. These are called heat maps, where there's average sale price over 1 year, growth over 1 year, and turnover in 1 year. I'm an old agent. I used to carry map art books in my car wherever I went, especially if I was dealing in an area that I didn't normally sell in. The map art books were great back in the day, weren't they? They told you where the railway was, where the shopping was, where the schools were, all sorts of great stuff in that map art book. And I noticed that, Chris, I think it was you. You were still using map searches.
Yeah.
You were using the column, the row, the page number. I haven't seen that in years. So, you know what? Yes, it's still in the system, but we don't typically use that stuff anymore because our map searches are so detailed now. We don't need to rely on an external third-party book to tell us where these properties are, right? Let's go down a little bit further. We've got the map art grid. Okay, we don't need that. This is the area, municipality, and communities. You can turn these on and off just to guide you to see what boundaries you're in. This happens a lot when people are looking to say they want to live in Peel, but they'll consider Halton. Well, you're not going to use, if they're going to consider both Halton and Peel, the first search criteria will filter all that stuff out, right? But they want to live on the border. I think Burlington and Oakville is an example. They have that street called Burloak. It's what the street named. It's Burlington, Oakville. That's the border, right? So I'll live anywhere within Burloak. Okay, well, I'm going to use a map search to look for properties along that stretch. So these overlays are there to guide you so that you know where you are in reference to the boundaries of the community, the municipality, or the region. Okay. What else do we want to know about searches? You know what? I'm going to let you guys play with it. I'm sure you're going to come back to me and say, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? I'll deal with that on an individual basis, but what I really want to get through is some of the perks. Okay. I do want to talk a little bit about add edit a little bit more for you guys, because for my listing agents that are in this room, you guys almost on a daily basis are in add edit or you're in the Realm CMA. Now, okay, so I have a complete 1-hour video that Joanne recorded back in January. I did 4 CMAs in an hour. So it takes me about, even when I'm doing the instruction, about 15 minutes to do a CMA. Let me show you how quickly you can do this. You can go directly from the resources menu and click on Realm CMA, and you can create a manual subject property, right? And using the search criteria, which you guys know how to do, to find your comparables. But let me show you something that's really cool. Let's go back to search. Okay, let's say we want, these are not available. Let's look at available properties. Let's say you're a buyer agent. I don't want sold. I only want available. Let's look at this property down here for $9.99. 5 Grassmere. So you've sent this property to your client. They like the price of this property. It's available. You've gone and shown it, right? And they're like, yeah, I think we want to know whether this $9.99 is the right price. So let's do a little bit of examination because I've never seen this property before. This looks like some kind of raised bungalow. Am I right? Yeah, it's got a single car garage. Okay. If we look here, it's a 52-foot lot by 115. This is an older home, right, guys? It's got 4 bedrooms somehow. Maybe it's a back split. What is this here? It's a side. No. It is a bungalow. So how did it get 4 bedrooms? Tiny little bedrooms. Okay. You know what? I got to do this because I'm like you guys. It's so, it's so hard to see all the information at once. I'm going to go back to the broker full sheet. There it is, right? Okay. So let's look at here. I can see that it's 4 + 2. It is a raised bungalow, as we, saw from just the picture. Oh, it's occupied by tenant. Oh, wow. They zeroed out all the measurements. That's a TREV violation, by the way, just so you guys know. But no one's reported it yet. Okay, I think we got enough information. It's got a finished basement. Oh, look at this. The 3rd basement is there, but so this is actually completely misleading. It's got 3 above grade bedrooms. The 4th is in the basement. So they shouldn't be calling that a 4th basement. Okay, that's a TREV violation. But anyways, we like the property. We're okay with 3 bedrooms, right? We just want to know whether the valuation is there. So I'm going to go right back to the top here. You see the blue button? Watch this. I want to create a CMA from this subject property. Boom. Okay, I want to create. Now, I don't know why the default, it's got leases checked off. I don't care about leases. I do want to know all the new price changes, even the extended. Deal fell through. And because I'm doing a CMA, I actually want the sold conditional and the sold conditional with escape clauses. I want it all. Okay. It is freehold. I'm gonna look in the immediate 500-meter area. The only time I would not use a radius search, if it's a new subdivision. New subdivisions have not been properly mapped, especially if they're not even registered on Geo Warehouse. It's a new condo development. I don't know. Don't use the radius search if you're dealing with new properties, okay? But this is not a new property, obviously. I'm not gonna specify a price range, but I will say that I really only want to know what's happened within the last 6 months. I get the argument that people are like, when the market was hot, you could only compare it to the last 30 days. But I think we can safely say now that not a lot has changed in the last 6 months. So it's I'm pretty comfortable comparing to properties, and I also want to gather as much data as possible. Okay, now the nice thing about this is also, because this was co-developed by Terranet, we can also include land registry properties, right? That have sold and closed on Geo Warehouse, but were not sold on MLS. This is also more important when you're dealing with borders. If you're next to an ITSO region, let's say you're in Burlington, there's a lot of TREB information, but the Hamilton data is not in TREB. But these properties have sold. So you might want to use the Geo Warehouse data to add the comparables. Am I correct? And you may not be a member of
So if
their
you
board.
do include land registry properties, it will automatically.
It's
take
gonna
data
look,
from all the boards.
it's gonna look for the last 6 months. Okay, let's do this. Now, 2 options. Suggest properties. Please don't use this yet. Okay, unless you're in a real rush. Okay. I like to pick the criteria that I'm looking for. I'm gonna click search properties. And what does it do? It goes to my default search. Now it knows where the subject property is. What do we know about this property? It's in Peel, right? It's in Brampton. Come on. I'm
What's
clicking.
gonna happen next? Tuesday when everybody-
I don't know. Here, Brampton. Wow, I can't believe how slow this is today. Okay, and we were in downtown Brampton, I think we were, right?
So,
Was that property in downtown?
No.
It wasn't. Okay. Now look at this. Match on all area municipalities has not been checked off. I gotta check it off because look what it's doing. It's just way too much in here. Okay. We want freehold for sale. We don't care about leases. We're gonna look at available and unavailable. Okay. It was detached, correct? So let's pick the type is detached. And do we want to be look, we've got 17 results. Is that still too much?
Raise
Yeah, if you
bungalow,
want
right?
this bungalow.
Yes, let's see how many style, okay? Raised bungalow. Bungalow raised. That's being very specific. One result. That's not enough. You know what? I might want to go with bungalow as well. Not a lot of agents. Oh God.
And a side.
You want to look at a side? You would compare that to a side split?
Oh,
Just for learning. purposes.
Okay, you know what? Let's pick a back split 3
Side split.
and a side split 3, right? I've got 2 results. Okay.
Only 5.
Yeah, it's only within 500 meters. That's probably also why. Okay. There's not a lot of activity. Okay. So I'm going to select these 2. Watch this. When I go to CMA, I'm going to click on CMA. I'm going to add 2 comparables. Because I'm in the CMA function, right? Now, I want to go back to the CMA because I'm done with my search. For some reason, it only picked 1 property. Why is that?
But the other one was the same property. was
You know
the
what?
property?
It just slow. It took a while. I think if I recycle this now. Subject property. Add comparables.
The
Wasn't.
second one was 5 Gracia.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that was the original property. Okay. All right. So we've got 1 comparable property here, but now I can preview this. This is a quick and dirty CMA, is it not? I can pick what specific report I want to look at, but what I really want to do is I want to print this. I want to see the print preview. And from the print view, because I know that you guys like usually printing your CMAs, am I correct? Are there a lot of people here that are emailing them?
Depends on the age demographic.
Really? Yeah, I agree. Okay. If you're dealing with millennials and they don't want to see, they don't want anything on paper, you're going to email them the PDF so you can download that. Let's see how long with the slow system. Like, if it's this slow now, can you
And
imagine how
people
bad it's
haven't
gonna be
even
next week?
started downloading the documents and everything on this interface. Can you imagine when people use this as their actual?
It
business
is-
platform?
Yeah, you know what? That's the one thing that I am a little bit worried, not a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm a lot worried about.
You're gonna see everyone putting in their documents, their surveys, everything. This is gonna slow it right.
I know.
It's gonna be a snort base.
I know,
And
so,
maybe in the meantime, talk about the difference between the on CMA and the off CMA. I mean, I know it's a third party, but I've realized that.
why don't we do that privately? Okay? I don't really want to talk about a third-party program on video.
500 meters. Like the- can
Yeah,
you
the
see
500
the-
meters is very restrictive. I totally agree.
Can you
Especially
change
for
that
upload rates, it's,
to feet?
Yeah,
I would take at least a couple of kilos.
right. Okay, as you can see, it's generating the report.
Why did they do that? So you
Yeah, I can't answer those questions. No. Yeah, but it shows both at all times, okay? Okay, guys, so I can either print this, okay? And this is what the basic free Realm CMA looks like. So the big question is how many of these could you do in a day? What? Okay, so as part of your normal practice, what do? We search for properties. We provide CMAs to prospective listing agents. You might provide a CMA to a buyer, right? They want a formal report before they put in an offer on this property. And you broker load, right? Or at least when you're preparing a listing agreement, you want the broker load draft to get them to sign the listing. Isn't that in a nutshell, your whole business? Yeah. I'm not here to talk about web forms versus SkySlope and all that other jazz, right? I'm simply talking about the MLS. What else do you use the MLS for? Anything special? Now, I did a private CMA course for one of our agents in the Queen Street office, and she had all sorts of customization. So I'm not going to print this, obviously. I'm going to cancel. I want to show you guys something. This is actually going to be really key for a lot of you. If you guys are, let's go back right into the dashboard. A lot of you will just go to the dashboard and click on search. Am I correct? You don't care about anything else. You just want to get to a search. Am I correct? I'm going to clear this. Now, you may not know this. I'm going to pick a save search just to make this easy. I'm going to go Kingsbridge condo search, and it's got a special shape. This is something I did at a previous training seminar. So I've got 51 results here. That's a lot, but it's manageable. I've got condo for sale, and these are all available. What if I want to pick unavailable, and I only want, sorry, I don't want, I care about available. I just want sold. So I'm going to go down here. I want sold. Come on. There it is. And I want the sold date to be T minus 60. Right? T minus 60. 2 months? That's 25th here, right? I've got 27 results. Now, because you see here, these are the list prices. I don't like this view. I created a very special, customized sold date feature. And you guys might want to do the same thing as well. So you're not asking Treb or Realm to change the information on the way that you view it and print it. You can choose it. As you can see, look at what I've done. I've got the price, and right next to the price, I've got the square footage, because that wasn't in the default. I've also got the sold date here.
So the price it's showing, it's the sold price? or-
Right. So watch this. I want to customize this, right? I'm going to click on columns, and I want to customize the view that I'm currently in. Here are all the fields that you've already selected. Now I can move them around. I've been moving this around quite a bit, actually. See this, see the price? Where's the sold price? It's sold date is down here. Oh my gosh, I deleted the sold price. So I'm going to go into sold price. Let's go find it. Let's see if I can click S. Yeah, I can click S to fast forward to S's. Sold price right here. I want to move it right next to price. So they're side by side. I'm also going to show you something else that's really cool. Right at the top, percentage listing price that it was sold at. Right? I like that. I want to put that right after the sold price. I'm gonna move it right here. Now, without actually, I'm gonna save this because I actually like this. Watch what changes. Right beside the asking price and sold price, they're all side by side. Actually, you know what? These are actually identical. That is not the list price. This is the wrong price. Yeah, I gotta customize this. Customize. I gotta remove price and put in list price. So I gotta add list price. Yeah, I know. There's just so many different.
You can move that one.
So L, list price. List price. Here we go.
Yeah, I think you can just delete the price.
Yeah, I'm gonna delete the price in general. So yeah, because that's a combination. Right? And this, go over to the right. I'm gonna click delete. I'm gonna save this. So this is a little bit more practical for what you guys are doing out there. Am I correct? Now I've got the list price.
You have to do it every time, or it will,
No, I saved it. It will go back to the default, but if you saved it, when you click on columns, right? You see sold date? That's actually one of my saved.
If you don't work and log in, but it's
No, it'll go back to default. So you gotta go back to your saved.
Save it every time.
Yeah, because it doesn't know whether you want available and unavailable as well, right? There's so many different types of searches that you're doing. So that's why you would save specific types of searches for specific types of circumstances.
You just can't set it as a default, but every time you open it.
Yeah, yeah, well,
It'll always have your setup columns.
the default will always be the realm generic. Now, I've got a few requests as to from different people, what they want the generic to look like. But that I have no control over. But the response that I've gotten directly from Realm is that we've given you guys the ability to customize what the information that you're looking at, and this is how you would do it. Okay, but as you can see, I can see the list price, the sold price, and the percentage of the listing to sold right here. Now, if I wanted to print a report, watch that. Yeah, you can email, but when I click on print, this is also different. The way that Realm prints stuff, it gives you all sorts of options. I don't want the listing details. I just want the summaries and I don't want the photos. Okay. What does that look like? And I'm going to use the sold date, my saved column set. Watch this. And this is for 27 listings, right?
Or still being recorded, right?
This is all recorded. But I want you to play with it.
So, to add the photos, you know, before when we printed off, the photos were always at the back and then the listings were, we had to reorganize it all. Is that, do you remember that? The regular CMA, all the photos were in the back at the when you printed.
Yeah, I
Take
vaguely
all
remember
of
that.
them And bring them forward and reorganize everything?
Yeah.
Are they gonna have to do that if I? want
I'd have to
photos?
ask to see if they were
Or
going to
is
be
it all
doing
gonna
that.
be like listing, photos, corresponding, listing? Like it should be-
I will try to find out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just take one.
I don't print the photos a lot, to be quite honest.
Oh, I do. Love
Yeah?
those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm at the mercy of the speed of the system. We will all be at the mercy.
Come back to-
All right. While this is generating, any other questions about any pressing matters? Let me put it that way, that you guys are running into. Okay,
So just in my contacts, how come they're all, you know? I don't know.
because did you import them from Stratus? Yes. So it's not going to assume, because we don't know what you want to do with these people yet. The last thing that we want Realm to do is to assume that all your contacts are active. So if you know, like, how many active clients do you have out of that list? Any?
How many active?
Yeah. 5, 10?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you pick the 5 or 10 that, and you can change their status. So you go into their setup, and you can change it from being inactive to active, but that's not enough. They're not really active if you're not really doing anything with them. Have you assigned some kind of search to their profile? And you're sending them notifications. The minute you do that, you've activated them. You get it? Because now you're,
Not an automatic thing to make them active.
no, you,
Like, many of my past clients, like solar
You're-
property, I send.
yes, so.
multiple street or whatever, and-
So we're not gonna assume that you are sending all these people, all these listings, right? You should conscientiously know in your own business practice, what information is going to whom.
So you have to reset up.
The hunting.
Absolutely, okay? So-
just imports, but it doesn't really start the same thing again.
And something I learned today, if you're emailing a listing to somebody, and if they are inactive on the system, it would just won't send.
It won't send anything, exactly.
So that's why I wanna make
So you
sure.
have to set.
Yes,
them up as a
so
Contact in order to.
We can
represent
sit
you.
down and we can go through, I don't know, how many contacts do you have in your system that are, that you want to be active, about 10 or 15? So we, wow. I know, yeah, so do I, right? But they're not all active. I've got people from like 20 years ago in there, right? So I'm not gonna activate them all. They're active, but I've got people that I haven't even talked to in 15 years.
No, I think
Right?
what he's trying to say, and I'm the same way, I might speak for both of us, let me know. This is gonna act like my CRM, so everything is gonna switch. over.
Right.
I stay in contact with all my people.
Right.
All the time, whether or not they're active or not.
So what we can
Is
do,
that what you're saying? Like, you
Yeah.
still wanna send it?
what
to
we can do is we
them?
can systematically go individually through all your contacts. Let's see which ones you want to be active. Let's see if you have an associated search to their profile, because all that stuff that you just imported from Stratus, you probably don't even have those contacts associated to those searches anymore. You see? So you have to go through and you have to reconnect them. You got to connect the client to the search. But temporarily, we have put all those prospects under your profile with their email. That's what we've done temporarily. Okay? It is not a permanent solution for you. It was just meant to get you from Stratus into Realm. Okay, so I'm trying to show this to you. I don't know why this is taking so long. This shouldn't take this long.
Look at status. There's a click. It should be on the right side. It's a blue button. It's called status.
Status.
Okay, so I hit active?
No, but status filters who is active and who's inactive.
You can change.
No, okay.
No, but you have to go into the profile to change that. You need the 3 buttons. You want to edit the contact and switch them to active. Okay, he's in the profile. Yeah. Okay, don't mistake their status filter from changing their actual status. Okay,
So if, what I was gonna do, and what you think of this idea is, I've hired a student.
Yeah.
They're gonna sit with me next week, they're gonna help me input all of my stuff, and I'm gonna activate everyone, because I'm gonna send them an updated CMA at their house no matter what.
fantastic.
So as soon as I do that, that means I've just activated, I've transported everyone, and I've also activated them, and I send them something that says, welcome to Realm.
That's
in case
right.
You wanna chat with me.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Okay,
If
So-
anybody wants a student, she's great.
you guys have so many more tools available to you through this platform now than you ever did. You probably don't even really know how to implement it into your daily practice. So I'm not saying that you have to do any of these things. My suggestion to you is to play with it to see if it has a place in your practice. Plain and simple. And I know the paranoia, which is why we're all here today, is that did we miss anything before they shut Stratus off? Did we miss something that we should have salvaged from our previous MLS system before we lose it next Tuesday at midnight?
That's a big thing.
That's a big fear. I get it. And that's why I'm recording this session. I wanted everybody in the company, all 520 some odd of you, to have the opportunity to at least save your data. Okay, I didn't even get into in this seminar, going into Stratus, for all of you have you have all these CMAs in Stratus, you're gonna lose them all. How do you back them up? I can't bring them to Realm. You can download them into PDF. You would do that from Stratus while you still have it. Okay, your contact list. You guys were saving contacts with no emails. Okay, but you still want the contact. You can upload that to an Excel file. Now you have all the information. You haven't lost it. You've backed it all up. You got it? And I'm not gonna wait for this print thing to generate anymore. It's taking too long. So, but as you can see here, the view, I'm actually gonna close this. All these fields that are showing here will show up on that printable report. And I'll have you guys print your own stuff and come back and tell me what you're having problems with, or what you're having successes with. I am going to be making myself available next Wednesday at the Kingsbridge office. Mark this down, okay, which is the 31st of July. It is the morning after you've lost Stratus. I'm not looking forward to it, but I will be in the office, sitting in the training room at Kingsbridge. If you really feel like you need more help, now that it'll be your first taste of never having Stratus ever again. come and see me at Kingsbridge. The Thursday after that, I will be at Queen. And the Friday after that, I will be at Sandalwood. And then I go on vacation for 1 week. Okay, so I'm here. But I will make myself available to you guys. But if I don't hear from you during those 3 days, I'm gonna assume that you are hunky dory.
Or traumatized.
All right, so everybody that is online, thank you for spending the time with us here. I'm gonna stop sharing this.
One more question, one more
Yeah.
question. Do you wanna maybe quickly show everybody the my profile so nobody panics about how to get their open house up into?
Actually, that was an announcement that was actually sent by Treb today. Okay, so if you actually go into here, I'll restore my screen.
I just know that like.
If you go to the dashboard and you scroll down to the bottom, the announcement's right here. Where to access public open house tool, right? You click on the article. So when you're going into your ad edit, you guys are always complaining, how come my open house doesn't show up on realtor.ca? Blah, 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 right? We actually made it better, because remember you used to have to go to realtor link through my profile, and you had to, manage my profile, remember all that? We took that away, okay? You can still do it, but we took it away. Oh shoot, I'm logged out.
Yeah, I got logged in.
You know what? They might be having some,
Update, everybody's involved.
everybody's logging in. You're absolutely right.
They just say, they.
So we can do it through here. We can put it on.
Yeah, watch this, 699 191.
My profile is we have to scroll down and.
Okay, so there's, guys, you can see here, when you're in your ad edit and you've actually created a listing that you've created a draft for, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's this little thing called open house. And that will log you into the prop text portal that communicates with realtor.ca. Okay? Cool? Now, I recently had a conversation with Janice. I believe she's also trained the front desk on how to do this as well. So but like I said, you guys are responsible for your own listings. If they miss it, you now know exactly where to go to accomplish this. If you have additive privileges, okay? Any other questions before I end this? Great. I'm gonna stop sharing, and I want to thank everybody for joining us, and the recording will be available later this afternoon, okay?
Go with the direction part.
Okay.
We have, this thing that we're going to